Hello students, this is Mrs. Sonal Patil. Students, we were dealing with the chapter Strategies for Enhancement in Food Production, but since that chapter is being deleted, so the further part of the chapter will not be taught. We will begin with the third chapter, that is human reproduction. Weightage for this chapter is of 7 marks. Questions carrying 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 marks or 5 marks may be asked from this particular chapter. We will begin with the introduction. So reproduction is a physiological process during which an organism produces young one of its own kind to continue the race. Humans are sexually reproducing organisms and they are viviparous. They give birth to the young ones. The reproductive events in humans include, firstly, formation of gametes, which is called as gametogenesis. So the process of formation of gametes is called gametogenesis. That is, sperms in males and ovum in females are being produced during the process of gametogenesis. And after the formation of the gametes, the next step is transfer of the gametes, that is, transfer of sperms into the female genital tract. That process is called as insemination. Later, fusion of male and female gametes, which is called as fertilization. So, the process of fusion of male and female gametes is called fertilization, which leads to the formation of zygote. This is followed by formation and development of blastocyst and its attachment to the uterine wall. So the attachment of the blastocyst to the uterine wall is called as implantation. Embryonic development, that is gestation period, and delivery of the baby, that is called as parturition. In detail, we are going to study all these steps which are involved in the reproduction. There are remarkable differences between the reproductive events in the male and in the female. For example, sperm formation continues even in old men, but formation of ovum ceases in women around the age of 50. So here we have explained about the steps which are involved in the reproduction. Firstly, we will learn about the male reproductive system. Again, a very important question for 5 marks. The diagram is being asked of male reproductive system. The male reproductive system is located in the pelvic region. It consists of primary sex organs, that is, a pair of testes suspended in a scrotum. Secondary sex organs, that is, a pair of ducts, each differentiated into retitestis, vas efferentia, epididymis and vas deferens, ejaculatory duct and the associated glands. Thirdly, it consists of external genitalia. So male reproductive system is consisting of primary sex organs, secondary sex organs and the external genitalia. The testes are situated outside the abdominal cavity in a pouch called scrotum. mark this question important for 1 mark. Scrotum is the pouch-like cavity in which the testes are located, which help in maintaining the low temperature. It is about 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade, which is lower than the normal internal body temperature. This temperature is necessary for spermatogenesis. That is nothing but it is responsible, or it is important for the formation of the sperms, which is called as spermatogenesis. In adults, each testis is oval in shape with a length of about 4 to 5 centimeter and a width of about 2 to 3 centimeter. It is covered by a dense covering. Each testis has about 250 testicular lobules, and each lobule contains 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules in which sperms are produced. Each seminiferous tubule is lined by 2 types of cells. So testis is consisting of testicular lobules. Each testicular lobule is having about 1 to 3 seminiferous tubule in which sperms are produced. Each seminiferous tubule is lined by 2 types of cells: spermatogonia, those are nothing but the male germ cells, and Sertoli cells. The male germ cells undergo meiotic divisions, finally leading to sperm formation, while Sertoli cells provide nutrition to the germ cells. So they are lined by 2 types of cells. Male germ cells are nothing but they undergo meiotic division and they lead to the sperm formation, whereas Sertoli cells provide nutrition to the germ cells. The regions outside the seminiferous tubules, called interstitial spaces, contain small blood vessels and interstitial cells or Leydig cells. Very important question again for 1 mark. So there are presence of Leydig cells, and these Leydig cells synthesize and secrete testicular hormones called androgens. So androgens are secreted by the Leydig cells. So this is about the testis. Diagram, again I am repeating it, it's very important for 5 marks. In part D, the question will be asked for 5 marks. Either male reproductive system may be asked or female reproductive system will be asked. So please practice the diagram. It's very important. So male reproductive system is consisting of pair of testis, then rete testis, vas efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, prostate gland, bulbourethral gland, urethra, foreskin, glans penis. These are the labelings of the male reproductive system. Please practice the diagram. The male sex axillary ducts include rete testis, vas efferentia, epididymis and vas deferens. As we have seen in the diagram here, it is consisting of epididymis, vas efferentia, rete testis, vas deferens. The seminiferous tubules of the testis open into the vas efferentia through rete testis. So seminiferous tubules of the testis open into the vas efferentia through the rete testis. The vas efferentia leave the testis and open into epididymis located along the posterior surface of each testis. The epididymis leads to vas deferens that ascends to the abdomen and loops over the urinary bladder. It receives a duct from seminal vesicle and opens into urethra as the ejaculatory duct. These ducts store and transport the sperms from the testis to outside through urethra. The urethra originates from urinary bladder and extends through the penis to its external opening called urethral meatus. The penis is male external genitalia. The enlarged end of penis is called the glans penis, is covered by a loose fold of skin called foreskin. Male axillary glands include paired seminal vesicle, prostrate and paired bulbourethral glands. These secretions of these glands forms the seminal plasma, which contains fructose, calcium and enzymes. The secretion of bulbourethral glands also helps in lubrication of the penis. So remember, it is having again the axillary ducts, which include the rete testis, vas efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens. Axillary glands are nothing but the seminal vesicle, prostrate gland, bulbourethral gland. So that was about the male reproductive system. Coming to the female reproductive system. The female reproductive system is located in pelvic region. It consists of the primary sex organ, that is a pair of ovaries. Secondary sex organs, the duct system consisting of a pair of fallopian tube, a uterus, cervix and vagina. It consists of external genitalia and mammary glands. These parts are integrated structurally and functionally to support the process of ovulation, fertilization, pregnancy, birth and childcare. Ovaries are the primary female sex organs that produce the female gamete ovum and several steroid hormones which are called as ovarian hormones. The ovaries are located one on each side of the lower abdomen. Each ovary is about 2 to 4 centimeter in length and is connected to the pelvic wall and uterus by ligaments. Each ovary is covered by a thin epithelium which encloses the ovarian stroma. The stroma is divided into two zones, the peripheral cortex and inner medulla. So those were the ovaries. So remember, female reproductive system is having pair of ovaries, then it is having fallopian tube, a uterus, cervix, vagina, external genitalia. Mammary glands are integratedly, they work structurally and functionally to support the process of reproduction. Fallopian tube extends from periphery of the ovary to the uterus. The part closer to ovary is a funnel-shaped structure called infundibulum, having finger-like projection called fimbriae. Infundibulum leads to ampulla and join the uterus with isthmus. Uterus is pear-shaped structure also called Uterus open vagina through a narrow cervix. The cavity of cervix along with vagina forms the birth canal. The wall of uterus has 3 layers of tissue. Outer perimetrium, which is the external membrane, middle myometrium, middle thick layer of smooth muscles which exhibit strong contraction during delivery of baby. And the inner is endometrium. It is lining the uterine wall and undergo cyclic changes during menstrual cycle. So remember, it is having fallopian tube which extends from periphery of the ovary to the uterus. It has funnel-like shaped structure called as infundibulum, which is having finger-like projections called as fimbriae. Infundibulum is leading to ampulla, joins with the uterus with isthmus. Okay, and there are 3 layers present. Wall layers are there in the uterus: outer perimetrium, middle myometrium, and the inner is endometrium. Again, I will repeat, please practice the diagram, which is very, very important and will be asked for 5 marks in the examination along with all the labelings. Female external genitalia includes mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora. Mons pubis is a cushion of fatty tissues covered by skin and pubic hair. Labia majora is a fleshy fold that surround the vaginal opening. Labia minora is a paired fold of tissue under labia majora. The opening of vagina is often partially covered by a membrane called hymen. The tiny finger-like projection present at the upper junction of 2 labia minora above the urethral opening is called clitoris. So this is about the female external genitalia. Coming to the mammary gland, again this diagram is also been asked many a times in the exam. Please practice the diagram. A functional mammary gland is a characteristic of all female mammals. The mammary glands are paired structures that contain glandular tissue and variable amount of fat. The glandular tissue of each breast is divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes, containing clusters of cells called alveoli. The cells of alveoli secrete milk, which is stored in the cavities of alveoli. The alveoli open into mammary tubules. The tubules of each lobe join to form a mammary duct. Several mammary ducts join to form a wider mammary ampulla, which is connected to lactiferous duct through which the milk is sucked out. So that was a description of the mammary gland. They are the paired modified sweat glands that produce, secrete and eject milk and are characteristic of all female mammals. So you practice again the diagram of mammary gland. So today we have learnt about We have studied about the male reproductive system. Then we studied about the female reproductive system. So we will stop here, and in the next class we will begin with the next part of the chapter. Thank you.